because a point is a proposition of value. It's saying if we do X right, we will get to Y. It's sort of putting yourself out there as well, because it is a proposal, it is a suggestion, it is a recommendation. What thing of value am I trying to convey to you, or what principle? Sometimes I use an example of my son, who years ago wrote a paper on the American Revolution. And let's say I asked him what his point was, and he said, the American Revolution. And I said, well, what is it about the American Revolution that you're trying to argue or convey? All right, Dad, the importance of the American Revolution. Well, video games are important to my son, and the American Revolution is as well. So this word important could mean a lot of things, and we may not even necessarily share that definition. So he doesn't get to a point until he says the American Revolution, let's say, brought about the democracy that we utilize today. Or with podcasting, I believe that podcasting is the best way to reach our critical millennial audience. Now, these are points. But Wanda, I wanted something in my talks with clients and students. I wanted an exercise, a really easy exercise that can have people understand, hey, do I have a point or do I not have a point? Put it in one end of the exercise, you get a green light or a red light. And this is it. And I found it very useful over the years. And I talk it up all the time because even a child could use it, or a student. It's called the I believe that test. Mm-hmm. The I believe that test goes like this. You take your point, whether it's to a colleague or a group of people or to a vendor or to a partner or to your mother-in-law, wherever you're making an important point, one sentence. Sometimes we call this an elevator pitch, if you will. And you put the words, I believe that, in front of it. Now here's the test. If what you have next is a complete sentence, not a fragment, not a run-on, it would impress your fourth grade language arts teacher or your grammar school teacher, then you are on your way to making a point. Then we could talk about sharpening it. We could talk about championing it. But if it is not a complete sentence, then you need to reimagine it. So for example, I believe that podcasting, not a sentence. I believe that leadership, not a sentence. Even I believe that the importance of leadership. I believe that the evolution of leadership. I believe that the techniques of leadership. None of these are complete sentence. None of them are points, because you're not actually making the proposal of value and impact explicitly within those words. So that test helps you. And, I talk about this to high school students when they're writing papers. My wife is a school teacher. She calls it the so what. You've put something out there, podcasting. So what? What are you trying to say about it? So using the I believe that test, we get to a place where we can say, I believe that successful leadership relies on active listening. Let's say that's one point. That is a complete sentence, and you're on your way to making a point. And you can tell, because when you hear that, I believe that leadership relies on active listening, it makes you sort of go on. Yes, I'm captivated. I want to hear more about that. And that's the value of a point. And the bottom line is, if you do not have a real point, you are rendered pointless.